Back to our masterpiece here. So the heart of Photoshop and the power of Photoshop is this concept called layers. So if you think of an overhead projector, you're able to put pieces of clear plastic on top of the overhead projector. You can write on different pieces of plastic, move them all around. So that's kind of what layers are. So if I go over here and I'm just going to find my layers palette, it's not on the side, so I go to my trusty window area and I find layers right there, and now it's handy. And you'll notice the layer I'm currently on is called the background. This little lock means it's locked as the background. We can disengage that just by double clicking on it, hitting OK, and it turns it into a regular layer. If I want to add layers, I can click on the small button down here, create a new layer. I can also go to layer, new, okay, and I can create a new layer. Now there's lots of options we can play in here. Opacity, choose the color of the layer, a whole bunch of things. I just want a blank layer. Okay, so what I'm going to use is our selection tool from last time. I'm going to draw a little circle here, or an egg shape, and then I'm going to actually, let's put a gradient fill in it, something different. No, not that one. Let's go here. Okay, and I'm just going to drag that in. Now remember, inside the selection, that's the only area that's going to get affected by the gradient fill. So there it is. I make a little oval that's orange and yellow. I'm going to use my move tool here to move this around, and because I'm on a different layer, I can move it wherever I want. I can turn it off and on by using this little eye here. I can hide it. There it goes. So if I want to place this over the box, I can do that. If I want to change the shape of it, I can Command T or Control T, which is a transform. So if you look under Layer, or pardon me, under Edit, you'll see Transform right here, and I'm just going to transform Scale. So I can grab these and shrink it. I can stretch it. I can do a bunch of things with it. So I'm going to make it look like an egg inside the black box here. And now I have two layers. I can add a third layer. Okay, and I can drag and move these up and down however I wish. So I'm just going to make this window a little bigger. So if I want this to be layer 1, and I'm going to bucket fill it with black. So I'm going to go to here, find the bucket fill, click on that. Now you can't see it because I have this rainbow layer in front. So if I turn off the rainbow layer, you'll see just the black background that's underneath it. I turn the rainbow layer back on, everything's hidden. If I go back to the rainbow layer and I take my eraser tool, and I'm going to get some funky designs in here. Let's grab little star shapes. And I start erasing things. It's actually creating holes to the layer underneath it or behind it. Notice they're all black. If I click back on layer 2 here, or the layer that's on the most bottom, and I'm going to change the color on the color palette to, let's go with purple. And then I'm going to bucket fill layer 2, which is on the bottom. So now if this works properly, all those little stars are going to turn purple because the background layer, which I'm going to change to purple, is going to be seeping through. And you'll notice they change to purple. If I change them to white, and I click on the background and bucket fill the background, I should show you that the background is purple right now. I'm going to bucket fill the background with white. You can see the background is white. That's a basic intro to layers. There's lots of things you can do. Like I said, it is the heart and soul of Photoshop. It's why people can make such amazing photographs or composites. This is just an intro to show how the concepts work. You can change the opacity, you can change the fill, you can change how they interact with each other, and there's books written on how to work with layers. So I'll show you the opacity while I'm at it. I'm going to just take the egg and I'll turn down the opacity, and you'll notice that it decreases. The one thing you do have to be careful of in layers is that if I want to bucket fill the background, say I want to have the background completely red, I'm just going to turn off the rainbow color here. So I'm going to change my foreground color to red, and I'm going to have a golden egg sitting on a red background. Here's where you have to be careful of. If I'm still on layer 1 and I hit fill that in, it looks like I've accomplished what I've wanted, but notice if I turn off the egg layer, my background is still white. So the one thing with layers you do have to be cautious of is make sure you are clicked on what you want before you start working, because you could be erasing some of the work you want to keep. So that's an intro to layers. Again, we'll be doing a whole bunch more with that down the road, but that should get you started and allow you to play a little bit.